Good morning, afternoon, and evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my Week 16 reviews of CFL action. We got 5 games to cover, so I'm not going to waste any time getting into it. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. We're going to start with the first game of the week, which is Edmonton versus Toronto. Alrighty, so the Elks would win a game over the Argonauts. I would say I was very surprised when I saw this. Cornelius was in for the Elks. And it looked like a very strong first half for the Edmonton Elks. However, Cornelius did throw 3 picks. So, do you play Arbuckle? I don't know. But this was just a bad game by Toronto. 7 points. I don't think there's any excuse for that. And I could be wrong. I don't think they got any touchdowns. Because I know one of those points was from a touchback. And I don't think they would have missed a convert, and I don't think they would have went for 2. So, wasn't great. And a fantastic game by the Elks. And you know what? For a season that hasn't been very good, it was nice for them to have a win in the last week. Not necessarily ending out on a win, but having a win in the last week. But anyways, not much really to that game. Toronto played bad. Edmonton played really good. That's really all there is to it. But anyways, we'll go into our next game, which is Ottawa versus Montreal. All right, so the Redblacks are winning. That's the second surprise game here. And it's funny because it looked like a good first quarter for the Alouettes. I didn't see many issues. However, second quarter, Trevor Harris stops performing. And, when your starting QB stops performing, you run into issues. And they did, and they ran into a plethora of them. And the Montreal defense really, really screwed the pooch there in the second quarter. And it got to a really tight moment where it was 18-17 for the Alouettes because Ottawa had gotten a touchdown. But then they went for 2 with just about 11 seconds left, and the Redblacks got it, did not want overtime. They had 1 game left in the season. They want to put it all on the line and hopefully get the win there. Then and there. It was a good call. They got the win over the Alouettes. I was quite surprised to see something like that happening, but Ottawa had nothing to lose, so I'm not exactly that surprised. You just don't see it very often. But it was a great second half by the Ottawa Redblacks to really fight back to get into this game, so all props to them. Anyways, I'll go into our next game, which is Edmonton versus BC. Oh, this was a blowout. I expected this to be a decently close game, but after Edmonton did play once this week, I'm not entirely surprised, I guess I would say. But I am a little bit surprised because I thought it would be closer, but now thinking about it in hindsight, I can see how that would have led to this. So, Burnham and Whitehead on point this game, and BC from start to finish was pretty unreal, and they really were shooting on all cylinders for the entirety of this game. And the Edmonton defense was just sleeping. They look burnt out, and you can tell that they were burnt out from that game against Toronto, which they only gave up 7 points against. So obviously the Edmonton defense put everything into one game and forgot about the next one. But it is hard sometimes in football to play 2 games in the span of a week just because of how much football beats the hell out of your body. And Cornelius threw more picks. Cornelius, you gotta get control of that ball, and you really gotta make sure that you're being careful where you put it, because he got a minimum of 4 picks between these 2 games. Minimum. I believe there was more like 5 or 6. But yeah, so BC would win this game a whopping 43-10, and so quite a demanding win for them. Anyways, we'll get into the next game, which is Saskatchewan versus Hamilton. All right, so Hamilton would win this game 24-3. Yeah, Saskatchewan was resting a lot of their starters, Fajardo included in that. And they couldn't get anything in terms of offense. They got a field goal, and that was it. Hamilton, however, played a lot of their starters. Brandon Banks was in for sure. I'm pretty sure Acklin was in, and a few others. But yeah, it was just a horrendous Saskatchewan offense. But I mean, it was expected the same way when the Bombers rested all their players in their game against the Alouettes and they lost that. It was expected that was going to happen. So not really anything to say about it. It's a nothing game. It's a throwaway game, especially for Saskatchewan here, as they played almost none of their starters. So is what it is. Hamilton would win this game, though, 24-3 with a nice win at the end of the season, though. And that'll bring us into our last game, which is Winnipeg versus Calgary. All right, Calgary would just barely win this game, kind of like the Ottawa-Montreal game, and where the last 30 seconds of the game would decide it. A buzzer beater field goal would make the Stampeders win this 13-12. Caleros and Bo Levi Mitchell would play the first half of this game. It was surprising to me, but then I learned that McGuire had a groin injury, so I sort of understood it a little bit. But then Brown would go in for Caleros, and you can see where he struggled, especially in short yardage. On the 2-yard line, giving it up, and then 50 yards get pushed back. Not a good sign. You never want to fumble the ball in the 2-yard line, and kind of screwed it there. Would have had an extra touchdown. Winnipeg probably would have won the game if they had gotten that, but they didn't. However, Augustine was fantastic this game, and it was really a showcase of how insane the running back depth is in the Winnipeg Blue Bombers and the running depth as a whole, especially if they now sign newly free agent Chris Streveler, who was released of his NFL contract with the Arizona Cardinals. If Streveler joins the Bombers, holy crap, because I know McGuire would definitely be pushed down the card, as Streveler has improved his aim when it comes to throwing the ball. The Arizona Cardinals have definitely helped him there. And if he's consistent, he may even possibly be good enough to be a starter. I don't know. We'll have to see, because I don't think this is the exact same Chris Streveler as we would have thought. I think the NFL has really helped him with his throwing game. But I mean, yeah, the main thing that was great for the Bombers in this game was that Bo Levi Mitchell in the first half that he did play. Basically, the goals of these two starting quarterbacks is if they play each other in the West Final, they want to be able to get a feel for what kind of offense they'll be playing against, or what kind of defense they'll be playing against. And Bo Levi Mitchell did not figure out the Winnipeg defense. Even with some of their starters out, he couldn't figure it out. So good news for the Bombers going into the West Final if they do play the Calgary Stampeders, which looks very likely. Pretty decently likely. I think it'll be a good game between Saskatchewan and Calgary, but I think Calgary has the edge there. But anyways, that's all I got for you in the Week 16 review. I'll be doing reviews on each of the semifinal games separately. And I can't wait for that. I can't wait for your guys' thoughts on that. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. And stay tuned for all of that. So, without further ado, I'll see you guys later.